Howdy ho, everybody. I am Donuts, and I'm here with...
Thermites.
I have seen all of South Park over season 20-something. He is watching it blind for the first time. This is season 2, episode 17, Gnomes. That's it. We're going to jump into the episode. If you want to get the full length, and you want to get the full length for this one, go check it out on the Patreon. $8 a month. If you want to get the next one early, which I believe is the finale, you can check that out for $4 a month on the Patreon below. Alright, let's get into it.
I should probably be listening to this.
Oh yeah, you should put in your headphones. Still so much in this opening that has only appeared in season 1 so far.
Yeah.
Very little of stuff that has appeared in season 2 is in this opening, which makes it not spoilery.
True.
Settle down, children. I have some difficult news. This is going to make you all very sad. The school board is considering firing me as your teacher. There's a possibility that I'll be let go and never allowed to teach you again. Yes, Stanley?
That's okay with us. Yeah, we don't care.
No, it isn't. It makes you very sad. Now, apparently the school board thinks that I don't teach you anything about current events, so tomorrow they're going to have you do presentations for the whole board. I'm going to place you all into groups of 5. Let's see, Wendy, Bebe, Clyde, Pip, and Token. You'll be group 1, and group 2 will be Stan, Kyle, Eric, Kenny, and Tweak.
Oh, not Tweak. We don't want to be in a group with Tweak.
There's nothing wrong with Tweak. I bet he'll do a great job in your group.
I can't take that kind of pressure. No, sweet Jesus, please. Dude, we can't work with this
boy.
kid.
That's what Chad Everett thought when the new female intern joined the Casa Medical Center. He thought, who is this woman with her gazungas and high heels? What does she know about medicine? Well, that intern soon saved Chad Everett's brother with a kidney transplant. So you see?
No.
I appreciate that in universe nobody has any idea what Mr. Garrett is ever talking about. He pulls the most obscure references from the oldest TV shows.
Hello there, customer.
Hello, how are you today?
Great. What can I get for you? Large coffee? Small coffee?
I'm actually interested in something else. I'm John Poster from the Harbucks Coffee Corporation.
Oh, you're that corporate guy who's been calling.
That's right. How come you don't call me back? All we want to do is buy out your coffee shop here.
Oh, forget it. My store is not for sale.
My company's prepared to make you a very generous offer. This is a Crimsonite briefcase, all leather, and the compartments in the keyless lock. Interested?
No, I don't think so. My coffee shop is worth a lot to me. Sure, we may take a little longer to brew a cup, and we may not call it fancy names, but I guess we just care a little more. And that's why Tweak Coffee is still home brewed from the finest beans we can muster. Yes, Tweak Coffee is a simpler coffee. For a simpler America.
Well, that's too bad. We're just gonna have to open our Harbucks right next door to you.
But that could put me out of business.
Hey, this is a capitalist country, pal. Get used to it.
Hello, Mr. Tweak. Hi, Officer Barbrady. Who was that? Oh, just some dong. What can I get for you? Well, the usual.
Oh.
Thanks, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Oh, I forgot about that gag. Is that a recurring gag? No, I remember most of this episode, but...
How about we do it on that Raymond guy on TV? You know, everybody loves Raymond. No, Cartman, we can't do it on Raymond again. It has to be on a current event in South Park. Wait, do you have any ideas? Too much pressure. Great, glad to help you are, kid. The gnomes. What? We can do our report on the gnomes. What gnomes? The underpants gnomes. The little guys that come in your room late at night and steal your underpants. So that's where my underpants go. Dude, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, I've never seen any underpants gnomes. They come out at 3:30 in the morning. Most people aren't up then, but I am. I can't sleep. Ever. Dude, we can't do a presentation on underpants gnomes. Mr. Garrison will fail us because you're making it up. No, sleep at my house tonight. I'll prove it to you.
Have some coffee, boys. I'll brew up another pot for later.
Coffee?
Ah,
I don't
this
think
means
I
a
like
lot.
Oh, you'll like this coffee. It's fresh.
Country fresh. Like the morning after a rainstorm.
Okay. Maybe it'll help us figure out what to do a report on. We have to present it to the entire South Park Town Committee tomorrow.
Oh, I've got one for you. How about doing a report on how large corporations take over little family-owned businesses?
Richard.
No, I'm serious, hon. These boys should learn how the corporate machine is ruining America. You see, I own a coffee shop, and now a great big multi-million-dollar company is going to move in and try to take all my business, which means I may have to shut down and sell my son Tweak into slavery.
Slavery?
Yes, slavery.
Wow, that sucks, dude.
They really have my balls in a salad shooter.
You can always go on welfare. Look at Kenny's family. They're perfectly happy being poor and on welfare, right, Kenny? Well, let's just try to finish all this coffee so we can stay up. Woohoo! Yes, this stuff rocks! Totally, dude. I feel awesome! Whoopee!
Oh, no.
I'm a salsa. Hey, Tweet, do you have any more of this stuff? We just have grounds. Killer!
There's like 3 pots downstairs. Yeah, that's so much.
Whoopee! Oh, my stomach hurts. Yeah, mine too. I wonder why.
Do you need some more coffee?
No.
They do have more coffee then.
Well, boys, I don't mean to pry, but if you want it, I wrote your report for you.
You did?
Yes, it's all about corporate takeovers. Of course, you don't have to use it.
No, we'll use it.
All right. And it can be our little secret about who wrote it, right?
Sure.
Now, when you give the report, just
Here we
make sure
go.
you read this part first, all right?
There they are.
And then someone should do this second part. Really play it up, you know? I mean, really play the sympathy angle. They'll like that. You'll probably, get a passing grade for that.
Guys, look, you're missing it. They took him again. Thanks, dude.
My pleasure. Good night, boys.
Wow, Tweak, your dad rocks. Why do they torture me like this? Why can't they leave me alone? Damn it, what the hell is wrong with you, Tweak? They took my underpants again. Soon they'll want my blood. Blood!
That sound mixing.
Perhaps there is no stopping the corporate machine. And that's our report, I guess.
Well, boys, it's obvious that you didn't even...
Great job!
Yes, great job.
Boys, you have really opened our eyes. We didn't even know this was happening.
Neither did we.
Well, Mr. Garrison, it looks like we were wrong about you. You really are teaching these kids something.
Yeah, well, I don't want to sound like a dickhole, but I told you so.
I am really moved. I say we follow these boys' cause. Let's join them in the fight against corporate takeovers. Lead the way, boys!
Huh? Too much pressure!
Oh boy.
Good!
They really have my balls in a juice maker. Oh, hello, son.
Mrs.
How did
Gag.
your report go?
I think it went really good.
Come on, boys, let's go.
I feel like her voice is so similar to the mayor.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm thinking of the principal. Principal Victoria.
Oh, I haven't heard her in ages.
I guess you want to do some campaigning. You can do commercials and things like that, and then we'll have a vote in the middle of town. And obviously, if more than 50% of the people even show up and care enough to want Harbucks out, then they're out. So good luck to you.
Didn't you see them?
All right, what's next?
Next is issue 37D, missing underpants. Is it cold in here?
Should Harbucks be allowed to open a store in South Park? That's tonight's topic. On my left, 5 innocent, starry-eyed boys from Middle America. On my right, a big, fat, smelly corporate guy from New York.
Hey, I'm not fat or smelly.
All right, Mr. Douchebag.
Post 'em.
Oh, pardon me, Mr. Assface. Anyway, let's hear your side of the argument.
My argument is simple. This country is founded on free enterprise. Harbucks is an organization that prides itself on great coffee. We simply want to... Oh, the hell with you!
Okay, a cafe. Now for the other side of the argument, we turn to our young, handsome lads. Boys, your thoughts. Come on, boys, don't be shy. What's your principal argument?
This guy sucks ass.
Great argument. You win, boys.
What?
You win!
Close, Mr. What is the future of America? Is it the money we make? The quest we conquer? No. It's children. So what do children have to say about Prop 10?
I don't like big corporations. I like small businesses. I believe in the family-owned enterprise.
Stop large corporations. Prop 10 is about children. Vote yes on Prop 10, or else you hate children. You don't hate children, do you? Remember, keep American business small, or else. Paid for by citizens for a fair and equal way to get Harbucks Coffee kicked out of town forever.
What the hell? Well, I be damned.
Oh, I finally saw them!
Pair of underpants! Bad. Cartman. Why do you always have to hit stuff with a stick? Look at him. He's look at him. Is that all you got, pussy? What? Hey, he talked. Yeah, he called me a pussy. I'm not a pussy. You're a pussy. You're a pussy. Hey, why are you taking Tweek's underpants? Yeah, look what you're doing to this poor kid. Stealing underpants. Big business. Business? Wait, do you know anything about business? Sure, that's what gnomes do. Show us. Okay, follow me. No, pussy gnome. Don't call me a pussy. Pussy gnome. Collecting underpants is just phase 1. Phase 1, collect underpants. So, what's phase 2? Hey, what's phase 2? Phase 1, we collect underpants. Yeah, but what about phase 2? Well, phase 3 is profit. Get it? I don't get it. You see, phase 1,
Oh.
collect underpants. Phase 2,
Do you know this?
I know this.
profit. I get it. You don't
Is
fag.
this a South Park reference?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Us gnomes are geniuses at corporations. Jesus Christ, look out! Oh my god, they killed Kenny. You bastards. Listen, we have... Holy shit, we killed your friend! Yeah, look. We gotta know about corporate takeovers tomorrow, we're screwed. Gross! We squished him like a bug! Do you know anything about corporate takeovers? Well, we can explain that to you easily. Yes, for a price. What? You know. Underpants? We went and asked our friends the Underpants Gnomes, and they told us all about big corporations.
Underpants gnomes?
Big corporations are good.
What? Good.
Because without big corporations, we wouldn't have things like cars and computers and canned soup. Even Harbucks Coffee started off as a small little business, but because it made such great coffee, and because they ran their business so well, they managed to grow and grow until it became the corporate powerhouse it is today. And that is why we should all let Harbucks stay.
That's not what you said last time.
Well, the truth is, we didn't write that paper last time.
You little turd! You ruined my life for the last time!
You keep protesting and complaining, but did any of you ever even bother to taste Harbucks coffee? Harbucks coffee got to where it is by being the best. Don't you think you should at least try it?
Hey, this is pretty damn good.
Yeah, it doesn't have that bland, raw sewage taste that Tweek's coffee has. Hey, that is good.
It's a French roast.
It's subtle and mild. Mild like that first splash of sun on an April morning. This coffee is coffee the way it should be.
Hey, no hard feelings, Tweek. You know, we still need someone to run this Harbucks coffee house. I'm sure it will make a lot of money.
Thank you, Mr. Poston, but I think we'll be fine with the money we make selling our son into slavery. Just kidding, son.
I love you guys.
What? Weird ending for Cartman.
Oh,
Work out now. Search for underpants, hey. We won't stop until we have underpants. Yum, yum, yummy, yum, hey.
Oh, laughing at the end was good. So, that was Gnomes.
Oh boy. What?
First off, I will give my rating first.
Okay.
I will give this episode a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I think it's an okay episode.
Okay.
I think it's a very monumental episode, very significant episode.
Okay.
But I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
I will give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty solid.
Yeah, I think it's really good, but I don't want to give it a great rating just because it's so significant and I remembered it so well and everything like that. There's a lot of good jokes, but the episodes that I rate the highest are the ones that, you know, I'm laughing consistently the
Right,
entire
it's-
episode. This one had a few, you know, moments, like I said, where they just had to kind of, it's not funny, they're just moving the episode along, which
Right,
is
it's-
understandable, you have to do that, but that's why I rate the highest episodes the ones that have very little exposition and are just like, or the exposition is hilarious, like the
Mhm.
Mecha Streisand thing or something.
Mm.
But yeah. What is your favorite joke this episode?
The first time we see the Underpants Gnomes and they mix the audio so that the Underpants Gnomes get louder and louder and they do drown out the rest of the conversation, but the conversation is still happening and no one's noticing it. Because we do not, like, I think that one really sold me on, like, is this happening or not? It is South Park, so it's probably happening. But Tweek could also be just tweaking out of his mind. And now that I know that they can be seen, they can be heard, it's like, well, why was everyone just ignoring it? They were so
Especially
loud.
in the mayor's meeting.
They're not subtle at all.
No. I think they really play up the trope of, you know, somebody can see something but nobody else can.
Right.
And they take that to the extreme, but then also resolve it by the end of the episode. Each time with Hanky and now with the Underpants Gnomes. It's very consistent. They're like, they never let the episode end with it being like a question, or not even being a question, but like, they always reassure you that like, the person's not crazy and everybody else can see it too. And they usually give a happy end, I guess, where Cartman says, "I love you guys." But yeah, so you have seen the Prophet meme before.
Oh boy, that is like 2008 4chan, like when I first got onto 4chan.
Yeah, that is quintessential 4chan meme.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is originally from South Park. Yeah.
Wow.
It is an oldie, very oldie.
And like, even when I got onto it, it wasn't this raw. Like, the version I'm used to is the one where like it's 3 lines top to bottom, and there's a lot of question marks. There's not just one.
Yeah, I feel that originally this actually used to be like the template. Like, you would use that image as the template, and then it got boiled down to just, you know,
The text post.
nobody liked making template. Once
Right.
once memeing became, you know,
Mhm.
bigger, and I don't even mean like as even being called memes at that point.
Right.
But you know, then it just became distilled to the text version where
Yeah.
everybody starts using it. But yeah, and now, even now that meme is still, that's like a meme that has been around forever and has not died. It has died in popularity, but
Yeah.
it's not died in usage. It's not like if you saw it, you'd be like, "Oh, what a fucking old ass meme."
I mean, sometimes I see it in just long text posts as just a brief, like, you can usually
Yeah.
tell it's there because of the, you know, the question marks.
It's
Like,
just
it's
like
so
kind of
casual
an
now.
aside, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very much like the Chihuahua defense thing. It's just become so much. It's not even a joke anymore.
Yeah.
It's just known as a thing. I mean, and it is. That's a lot of what my notes are now. It is actually known as a thing in business, in economics, and everything like that. This joke is used like the Chewbacca defense
Okay.
because it became so prevalent. South Park has a lot of stuff like that, like, you know, what is that called? Like Band-Aid, now, you know, Band-Aid brand, or
Yeah,
or,
like,
or
it's
a
been
Dyson, you know.
Genericized.
Yeah, a lot of their jokes have just become genericized, not even to being a joke anymore.
Right. It's
Like, yeah.
Like, I do think the wit of it comes from this, like, the idea that we all know business is pretty obtuse, but this joke really simplifies it down to, like, yeah, sometimes you just do a thing, and there is a profit motive, but we don't know what happens in the middle. It's like, whatever, I guess.
A lot of business is, step 1, roll the dice. Step 3, profit.
It's so relevant.
Yeah.
Boy.
It is extremely relevant. Okay, let me grab my notes for this episode.
Please.
Is there anything you want to say before I get into my notes about the episode in general?
I mean, the ending was a real weird swerve
Yeah.
into, like, actually, corporate entities are good, and because they're big, it's proof that they're good.
Yeah.
It's a very conservative joke.
Yeah, I actually, like, I love this episode because I do agree with that very much so.
Mhm.
Like, they are creating a monopoly. Like, okay, well, it's different when it's something like, you know, like Disney is creating a huge monopoly, and that's very different because it's a media corporation.
Sure.
But when you're talking about specifically food and specifically like food services
Okay.
and all that kind of stuff, restaurants and anything like that,
Mhm.
I think specifically that kind of stuff, yeah, the big corporations are usually as big as they are because they are the best.
Mhm.
You know, you go to a mom and pop restaurant, you go to a mom and pop grocery store or anything like that, what you're get is gonna taste like sewage, shit, garbage ass. I've never been to a place that is not like a corporate place and the food has tasted good, or I felt like it has been a enjoyable experience.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely not. It always, like, it might be like, wow, this food tastes unique, but it's not like it tastes like if I'm eating, I love going around and I like eating a burger at like I used to be my goal to eat a burger from a local like restaurant,
Okay.
something that is unique to only that state, right? And
Mhm.
one in each state. That was my goal. But that does not mean that I'm doing that because I think those burgers are better than like a McDonald's burger or something.
Mhm.
Like, a McDonald's burger is the best burger you're gonna get because it's fucking McDonald's. Of course, you know, McDonald's got as big as they are because they have the best burgers in the world. And if you disagree, then you're wrong.
Okay.
It might not be in your taste buds, but it is the best burger in the world. You look at the stats. It is. It's the #1 burger in the world. So, like, just logically, yeah, they got there for a reason. They are the best if you just are looking at it logically based off numbers and everything. But, and, you know, people's taste buds are going to be different, obviously. But it's just, you know, it really comes down to the people that enjoy mom and pop restaurants and eating at these very, you know, normal, not corporate places are the people that like the acquired taste kind of stuff.
Okay.
I think there's acquired taste people, and there's people who like stuff that is naturally good, that anybody would pick up and go, yeah, that's good. Very few people would, you know, you give someone a McDonald's burger who's never heard of McDonald's, never had McDonald's in life before, they're probably gonna say, yeah, that's good. The people who aren't are people who like acquired taste kind of stuff.
Okay.
Which I would call mom and pop restaurants and things.
Okay.
But yeah, so I as far as food services go, you know, I 100% agree that, like, yeah, they're a monopoly, but, like, is that a bad one? Is it a bad thing? Like, that food is becoming, like, it's, with food services, it tends to be cheaper, you know? Very rarely is there a big corporation that has more expensive food than a mom and pop shop. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Maybe Starbucks. But even then, I don't know because I've never been to a mom and pop coffee shop in my life. So I don't drink coffee, so, you know. I've been to Starbucks like once or twice.
Sure.
And I know it's expensive, but I don't know, you know, if it's more expensive than a mom and pop or not. But yeah, I don't think corporate food services businesses and all that are a bad thing, and they are as big as they are because they are the best.
Okay, I'd hard disagree.
I figured.
I'd say that the benefit of a big business is standardization. I don't think McDonald's has the best burger in the world. I think they have the most standard burger in the world.
Which I would argue is the best burger in the world.
Like, I don't think that means it excels anything apart from just being extremely standard. And, like, I do think there's a benefit to that.
Yeah, I think being standard means that the most amount of people will enjoy the burger, which I think makes it the best burger in the world. I think if you have a burger that only a couple people can say it's the best burger I've ever had in my life, it's not a very good burger.
But I never hear anyone say, you know, the Big Mac is the best burger I have ever had.
Yeah, I agree. I've never heard anybody say that. Because you just wouldn't. You just know. It's just inherent. Nobody says this Bandit is the best Bandit I've ever had in my life.
I've heard it before.
Okay, well, we're different people then.
I've 100% heard people say, wow, this Band-Aid stuck on my body. I've used shitty Band-Aids. I don't like them.
Okay, I've never heard that, so.
In the same way, I've heard people say, this is a good burger. I've heard it from people who go to McDonald's every once in a while, but it does not seem to be a popular opinion.
I've never heard someone eat a McDonald's and say, this is a good burger. I've only heard it in place where somebody's eating. You know, when somebody says, this is a good food that they're eating, it's usually because they didn't expect it to be good, I would say. Nobody says, this is a good blah when they expected it to be a good burger. So, I mean, like, them saying this is a good burger in mom and pop shops, I think is more proof that, you know, it's actually not that good usually.
But, like, in the same way, I wouldn't say that Starbucks is big because they have the best coffee. I think they have they have a powerful aesthetic, which is why people like to congregate at Starbucks. I think that their coffee is very standardized. That's the reason why the big joke is that they sell burnt coffee. It's because the more you roast coffee, the more, like, you can control how it tastes. So they over-roast the coffee, because that way it does taste standardized, you know, at every location.
Yeah.
It all tastes like Pike Place coffee.
Like, okay, at, I think it was Steak and Shake, was probably, like, the burger that I've eaten that was, like, the most I've enjoyed eating a burger in my life.
Okay.
But I wouldn't call that the best burger, because if I went back and had another one, I guarantee it's not going to be good. It's not going to be as good.
Okay.
There's no way. But if I go back and get a McDonald's burger, no matter how many times I go back and get the McDonald's burger, I'm going to be getting the same good-ass best burger in the world every time.
I mean, even then, I would hard disagree. A few months ago, they did a campaign where they said, all right, we revamped some of our burgers because they weren't good.
I mean, I'm sure, I guess.
It's inherently, yeah.
But I mean, I'm not saying they're not changing the burger line. I'm just saying, like, if I'm going to get a specific burger, you know, I know that no matter what location I go to, or like even if I go to the same location again, it's going to be a similar burger, and it's not going to be like, well, how long was this left in the grill? You know, blah, blah.
Right.
It's standardized, which makes it the best. I honestly think standardization. I think the what am I trying to say? A supply chain, or not supply chain, a conveyor belt style of business.
Okay.
I'm not sure what I'm trying to say with that. There's a word for that, but either way, I do think that is the you know, I disagree with capitalism. One, I am very anti-capitalist generally, but I do. The one thing I will say is I do agree with this.
Okay.
Right. This is about like one of the only aspects of capitalism that I think makes sense, and I. This is why I'm like, yeah, I can see why people would get behind capitalism and everything like that for things like this. But aside from this, I don't really agree with capitalism.
I don't think that you can have an international, like, restaurant chain in general, like a food services chain that is international, that is high quality, like, or that is exceptional.
What do you mean exceptional?
Exceptional in the sense that, like, someone will go there and say, this is the best burger I've ever had.
Yeah, I'm not saying that people were going to go there and say they've had the best burger they've ever had. I am simply saying that the burgers are, the ratio of consistency to goodness is the best.
Okay. But, like, for instance, I don't think Five Guys could be, like, I think they have, like, a couple of restaurants out, you know, in random other countries, but they're not, like, international in the same way that, like, McDonald's is international.
Yeah.
And I do think that's one reason why people really like Five Guys.
No, Five Guys is so much worse than McDonald's. What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
Five Guys is awful. I mean, it's fine, but, like, as a restaurant chain, like, if you're gonna be eating at Five Guys, go eat at a fucking mom and pop shop. Because Five Guys is just this middle in between where the burger is just, like, not that consistent and not that good. Go eat at a fucking mom and pop shop where you get the acquired taste bad burger, but at least you might like it. Or go eat at McDonald's where it's consistently good.
That is buck wild.
No.
Went to the Five Guys like half a year ago. It was great.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was a decent burger.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that burger was better than, like, a Big Mac?
No, not at all. I like. I would put Burger King above Five Guys, and I don't like Burger King. Five Guys, any burger I'll like. Any burger I will eat and enjoy. Five Guys is the most middle of the road burger for me.
Okay.
It's the most, that is a hamburger.
But yeah, like, I would say that the reason why I think international fast food is usually not as good as, like, national fast food is because, again, it's gotta be standardized. And once you go out into multiple countries, you have to say, all right, so the burgers that we serve up in Poland have to taste the same as the burgers in America. Yeah. Which means we're gonna have to change the burgers in America if we can't get the Polish burgers to taste exactly like the ones we're already doing in America.
I think that's fine. Because again, you're standardizing your burgers more, and it's making it even more the best burger in the world because more people can enjoy it.
See, I don't think that makes it the best. I think that's just trending towards mediocrity.
I don't think so, because I think there are certain, like, that's what I'm saying, the best. That's why I'm always saying McDonald's. Like, Burger King, Wendy's, whatever, there's a reason why they're not at the top, because they settle for mediocrity in terms of their international stuff and everything. But, I think when you are at the top of the top, you know, you don't have to worry about that sort of shit at all.
See, I think McDonald's is at the top because of mediocrity. Because it sells.
Disagree. Nah. If mediocrity was the top, I think Five Guys would be at the top. If Five Guys tastes like just me making a burger in my own house.
I mean, I'd say when I usually make a burger at my own house, I like it more than a Big Mac.
Absolutely not. It doesn't have the, like, you know, the caked on grease. It doesn't have the whatever they do to it to make it bad. And by bad, I mean bad for you.
Ah.
When you make your hamburger at your house, it's too healthy. It doesn't taste good.
I also do think this is super relevant to the time we're recording in, which I won't say because I don't want to date the video.
Okay.
So just assume this is at some point in our lives in which...
They can look at the date at the bottom of the video.
I mean, if your channel gets taken down or something, you're going to have to re-upload all of these.
Which I always say were uploaded years ago.
Yeah.
But whatever, continue with what you're saying.
So, we currently exist in a time where a lot of mom-and-pop stores are going to just disappear. They're going to cease to exist because they don't have the big coffers that McDonald's or like even other chains like Wendy's or Burger King have, where they can just say, all right, we're just not going to do anything for like half a year, and then we're going to go back and it's going to be business as usual.
Yeah.
And oh boy,
this is why they're
concerned.
the tippity top, and that's why they're the best, man.
I don't think that like says anything about the quality of food.
I know.
That's just
that was a joke. That was just a joke.
It's a real Donald Trump situation of he's a millionaire and he managed to stay a millionaire. It didn't go up. It is going down, but he's still there, which means that he is the best.
Yeah, I want to be clear. I was joking when I said that.
Of course.
But anything else you want to say on this part of it?
I did think that this was honestly like when did this episode come out? Like, would it have been like late 90s?
I can check real quick.
Because I do think this is a spot on.
Yeah, very, very late 90s. 99, 98, something like that.
Yeah, this is spot on late 90s Starbucks in terms of like even the resolution, which is, okay, we are going to just take you, the guy who runs the mom and pop coffee place, and we're going to make you run the Starbucks. And like, that is how Starbucks got so popular. It was because they were the mom and pop, like, a coffee chain. Like, you go there, and it is a unique place with a guy who knows the city, because they just took a guy who was making coffee in the city and said, okay, you're making Starbucks now.
Yeah. And, like, yeah. I think that's a good thing to do, though.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything bad to say about that. That's good.
Yeah, I just think it was very spot on, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah. Very accurate.
We have gone into the early 2000s. Oh, I hate Starbucks.
I mean, that is what this episode was, though. This was the, all we have to say is just they're corporate and everybody hates them. I would say now we're trending towards the opposite of that now, where I feel there's so many people that are defending big corporations for no reason, defending food corporations, I understand that, again, because most of them are so they have the food for so cheap that it's,
okay,
even if their workers' rights are maybe like, it's still selling food for so cheap that it's like, that is in itself a benefit to society as a whole. Right? McDonald's is good for homeless people, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is fantastic for feeding the poor. Even if they're still, you have to buy it, it's still, like, the fact that they are as big as they are allows them to sell as cheap as they do. So it is helping the poor a lot in a way.
Right.
I mean, that's the whole joke. We just watched the Better Call Saul episode with split a box of McNuggets. That is the American joke. I'm not sure where I was going with that.
Oh boy.
I don't know where I was going with that, but whatever.
I mean, exactly. Like, again, in the time we're in right now, fast food has been declared essential. And that is specifically because you can use, well, especially in America, you can use fast food as a replacement for groceries.
Yeah.
So it tones down the amount of people who have to go to the grocery stores. You can use a drive-through.
Yeah. There's a lot of a capitalism that doesn't work, but the food part of it does, honestly. It's the only part of capitalism that I feel like does work with still plenty of negatives as well. But, I feel like it's the only part of it that truly does work.
I can see that.
Alright, so, boy, we have so much notes, I'm trying to figure out where to start.
Mm-hmm.
So, Paul Cantor is a literary critic who teaches college courses on South Park.
Okay.
I'm not sure how famous of a guy he is. I was going to say famous guy, but not sure how famous he is, really.
Have not heard of him.
But he described it as the most fully developed defense of capitalism in the show. Which... Sure.
I mean, as of this point, for sure.
Yeah, it's a very... I picked that quote because it's very specific. It's like he's trying to get as specific as he can with the quote. You cannot argue with the quote. It is the most fully developed defense of capitalism in the show. At the point of him, putting this out.
Right.
Like, it is, yeah, I don't know, nobody's gonna argue with that. It's very specific. Also, someone teaching college courses on South Park feels like a bit in Community.
Oh,
You know, it really does. But he said, actually, in the future, talking about like his course on this episode specifically and everything, that no episode of South Park I have taught has raised as much raw passion, indignation, and hostility among students as Gnome has. I'm not sure why, but I think it has something to do with the defensiveness of elitists confronted by their own elitism. I mean, there also is something to be said about, you know, the people, you know, eating at Starbucks and everything like that, and then complaining about them and wanting mom and pop shops, even though they're, like, Starbucks wouldn't be around if it wasn't being fueled by the people eating and drinking there. But self-evident. So way later, in 2013, Matt and Trey announced that they were forming Important Studios, a production studio. This is way later in 2013.
Sure.
Everyone compared them to the Gnomes in this episode because, you know, they were forming this Important Studios thing where there was going to be South Park and then, you know, other stuff ostensibly where they're going to have their own studio and all that, leaving Comedy Central. Yeah, everyone compared them to the Gnomes, saying how stupid it was. This, you know, step 1, make Important Studios. Part 2, question mark, part 3, profit. I cannot find any info on Important Studios.
Okay.
It really seems like that to this day, nobody has any idea about it or what it was. Nobody's even talking about it. I can't find anybody talking about it like it being anything at all.
Like you couldn't find a wiki page or anything for it?
No, nothing. There's no wiki page for it, but it is listed on all of Trey and Matt's stuff.
Okay.
And everything about its existence is so vague, and the fact that it's Important Studios and everything, this really feels like this is a joke that they did in 2013 that everyone immediately bit into, calling how stupid it was, and that they're not done with yet. Like, they haven't done anything with it, but they do own Important Studios.
Right.
This feels like a bit that hasn't ended yet, or they haven't forgotten, but everybody else has. I mean, I don't know if they might have forgotten it too, but it really feels like a bit they were trying to do. And I wanted to bring up this episode because, you know, because of the Gnomes thing.
Right.
But yeah, it was so weird to me when I was researching this episode, finding out about that, like, oh yeah, everybody was laughing about, you know, this episode when in 2013 they did this. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I never heard about that. What happened with this? Oh, I can't find anything about it. Googling it, trying to find anybody talking about whether it was a joke or not. Nothing. Can't find anything. So, I don't know what's going on with Important Studios. If anybody has any idea what happened with Important Studios, if it was a joke, if it wasn't, again, everything seems so vague with it that it feels like how they were talking about it and everything. It really feels like they were doing a bit.
Well, maybe by the time we catch up, it'll pay off.
Maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, this episode was a big one.
It was.
Big episode. But sorry, we still got so much more to talk about, actually.
Oh.
Hold on, we got plenty more to talk about. So, we got names for a lot of the cast members.
Yeah.
I want to actually hear that again. I'll cut this whenever. Okay, so I'm not sure if they mentioned Clyde's name before, but we got introduced to Clyde was the brown-haired kid right there, and then we have Token, who is the black kid.
Okay.
Which we finally find out why his shirt has a T on it. Well, we were talking about that extensively, where I was like, I don't know why Token's been around since episode 1.
Yeah.
And he's had the T on his shirt, but they haven't said his name until now. And again, not a joke. I mean, like, his name being Token is a joke,
right?
Sure, but the T on his shirt, they don't like call it out or anything. And there's no joke that he has a T on his shirt.
Right.
There's no reason for him having a T on his shirt. It does confuse the Terrence Phillip thing.
Yeah.
It's really strange. I don't know why he has a T on his shirt. I never made the connection to it being weird until they brought up Terrence Phillip and the Canadians having letters all over their shirts.
Right. It's
But no, so I guess it was just those two names that we got, Token and Clyde.
Okay.
Who, yeah, Clyde we've seen before as well. I think he spoke before, but had a different voice very early on when they were playing the football game, and Pip didn't have a helmet.
Okay.
That was in episode 4 of season 1, which Ration 2 didn't even come out for.
Oh boy.
But yeah, he had the voice of. I don't want to say his name in case I might say his name and you know.
Sure.
So he had the voice of the blonde-haired kid with the star hair, you know. I keep looking at the mic like it's the camera. But okay, I think that's all I have to say about this episode. And we got introduced to Tweak, new character. I don't think he's appeared at all
I don't
in the
think
background.
so. He seemed very new character.
Yeah, very new character, but in a way that, like, you know, they're just like, all right, Tweak, you're a part of the boys now, this episode. We haven't really done that, I feel, like, since Wendy, where they've taken, you know, a student and have them just be a part of the main 4 for the whole episode.
Right, it's... maybe Damien?
I guess, but he's not, like I'm thinking of students. Like, he
Right.
was, you know, in the episode and then he left to go back home to hell, I believe, or somewhere else.
Probably.
I can't remember where he went. He went somewhere. Yeah, but I love Tweak's dad with him being his voice being very calm and normal, despite saying really like weird things half the time. Like, I'm not even talking about like the balls in a vice grip or the balls in a juicer or the balls in the salad mixer or the balls in whatever. But just like the selling him into slavery or whatever, just saying things so casually. His mom, I don't have anything to say about. His mom's...
She's pretty neutral.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if the entire family stopped brewing coffee, she'd be the same. His dad would, like, be lethargic, like, nearly dead, like, maybe a zombie.
Yeah.
And then Tweak would be normal.
Yeah. Alright, that is it this episode. We'll see you guys for the next one. Until then, get the fuck out of here.